Hello, hello, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. We are here on Talking Tea and Talk Tuesdays, but I'm not here to talk about tea today. I'm here to talk about my master class that is coming up on this Saturday. And so it was really important for me to have this conversation with you because I understand that a lot of times when we talk about grants, people have a certain image in their mind of what grants are about. They think, oh, it's free money and that's about as far as it goes. And there really isn't an intentionality or strategy around it. And so what happens sometimes is there's a hit and miss. You'll hear about an organization that got a really large amount of money or a business that got a really large amount of money. And then next thing you know, you don't hear about them anymore. And the reason is because they got a grant, but they did not have a strategy. And so in my book, Mission Rich and Profit Power, for those of you who have purchased the book, you're going to definitely relate to some of the things I'm going to talk about over the next 20 minutes or so. However, I wanted to make sure that anyone who was on the fence saying, should I join this class? Should I not join this class? Why should I join this class? That there are three types of people who would benefit from being a part of this class. And so first and foremost, for those who don't know, my name is Latonia Monroe Naylor. I am your Chief Business Educator. Um, I'm out of Springfield, Massachusetts, and I have been doing work in the human services sector for a very, very long time. I can't even quite think of the amount of years. I know it's over 20. Um, at the moment, but I have to do the math in a second and be able to tell you the exact number. But at any rate, I got into this work because I loved helping people. I had a traumatic experience that happened to me when I was 16 years old. And when I had that come to Jesus moment, literally, I made up my mind that I wanted to give back. I wanted to contribute to society in some way. And so I started getting into mentoring and all of that good stuff. And it led me down a path of helping my church at the time with getting an organization started and writing grants and all of that good stuff. What happened is that I realized very quickly that if you don't have the wherewithal, if you don't know where to go, it's very hard for you to strategize because the people that knew weren't trying to share the information. And so quickly what ended up happening was that I decided I'm going to go ahead and do something a little different. What was that? I was going to go back to school. I didn't know what I was going back to school for, but in essence, what I ended up doing is I went back to school and I got my nonprofit and my master's in nonprofit management and philanthropy. And throughout that course, I learned a lot of the essence of what it took to really run a nonprofit entity. And a lot of the funding around nonprofits comes from grants, right? And so at the end of the day, I was able to then, get into working for a nonprofit organization. I went from being the volunteer coordinator to eventually running the grants programs, overseeing multi-million grant programs, being the person that was gathering the information, doing the research to make sure that we understood why the grant was necessary, who we were going to fund, how to determine who we would fund. And then after I left that position, I ended up in an organization where I had to acquire multi-million dollars of funding in order to run our federal grant. And so I had this ability, this very unique ability to now look at things from a very distinct perspective, right? I'm able to look at what it means for the person who's trying to get a grant, what it means for the person who's overseeing the process, who's making the determination on who gets the grant, and ultimately where to go to get the funding. Say hi to Nala. Nala, you're in my Nala. Hi. You're interrupting my I know. She's basically saying I'm in her space because I normally do this in my office. And so at the end of the day, when I came out of understanding the 3 different ways that people interact with funding, I started to teach people and I started to do grants, right? And so what I found was that no matter how great of a grant that I wrote, I wasn't guaranteed to get the funding. What I also learned was that there were times when my grants were not as good, but I got funding. And so I started to come up with this understanding and this strategy that, writing a good grant, knowing the technical aspect of it is very important. However, building out a strategy is what is going to create sustainability. So I went from having this organization that I was working with that I co-founded, starting out with a $500 budget to, in less than 5 years, growing to over a $500,000 budget, and having staff and running a full business and like all of these things, right? And what I was able to do is take the strategies that I implemented for all of the times when I was able to get funding, and then eliminate some of the things that happened when I wasn't able to get funding, and therefore creating this unique strategy that allowed me to be able to get funding. So here I am sharing with you on tonight what is going to be talked about in this class. Okay, so if you are a person who wants to learn how to write a grant, this class is for you. If you are a person who wants to learn how to get a grant, this class is for you. If you are a person who does not want to write or get grants for yourself necessarily, but you want to oversee the process because you want to get funding for your business, this class is for you. If you are a person who wants to just understand what are the various ways that I can get funding from my nonprofit or my for-profit business, guess what? This class is for you. Why? Because there are certain things that you have to define and that you have to outline in order for your grants to be successful. There are certain things that you need to know about how things move so that you don't make the mistake of hiring somebody thinking that they're going to give you the stars and the moon, and then when they can't, now you're mad at them as if it's their fault, but it's really your fault because you don't have a strategy in place. So there's things like understanding mission alignment, building meaningful relationships, effective communication and storytelling, tailoring your grant seeking strategies to your business and not just listening to somebody tell you, here's what they did, and now you do exactly what they did. What they did may not work for you. Ethical and transparent fundraising practices, measuring impact and reporting, and cultivating donor relationships and partnerships. Last but not least is navigating power dynamics. So these are the things that we're going to talk about and we're going to learn over the course of 6 hours. And the goal is that when you come out of the class, you are going to have a grant application prepared and ready to send off. You're going to have a strategy that you will be able to employ immediately so that you can see immediate results. I want mission-rich entities to be at a place where you are not begging for pennies, but people are knocking at your door saying, how do I fund you? These things occur is when you have a strategy in place. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you all. I know that it is around dinner time for folks and all of that good stuff. There's so many things that are happening right now. However, it's really important that if you are looking for the opportunity to grow your business, that this is the place that you want to be. On Saturday, May 4th, and May 11th, we will have 2 sessions from 10 a.m. to 1. They are together, right? It's a part 1 and a part 2. You have to take both sessions. Now, if you pay for the session and you only come to one, that is your business. I prefer that you come to both because you will not be able to leave with a complete strategy and an application complete if you don't come to both. We will also be doing sessions during lunchtime on May 20th through the 24th. Those sessions will be from 12 o'clock to 1:15 on Monday through Friday on May 20th through the 24th. And so if you have questions about this class, if you have questions about, what can you learn or how do you grow, I just want to tell you this is the place you need to be, because for a nominal fee, you are able to learn some things that are going to change the trajectory of your business. And I'm not just telling you that because it's what you want to hear. I'm telling you that because I know, I've seen it. I've had legislators come to me and tell me that the programs that I oversee, the programs that I help to get funding, are second to none. I've had folks come to me and say, I never thought I would be able to get funding, but thank you for helping me. I've had people knock on the door and say, hey, how do we fund you with $300,000 grants, $200,000 grants, $60,000 grants? So I am not just telling you this because, like I said, this is what you want to hear. But what I will tell you is that I am not employing any strategy that does not require work. So if you are looking for somebody to give you a get rich quick scheme or pyramid scheme, or do nothing and use AI and everything's going to happen for you, that is not the class that I teach. I am very authentic and I am very real about the fact that these things take work. It takes time and it takes planning and it takes strategy. Okay? Takes strategy. And so I am your chief business educator, and I will help you to figure out what strategy you need to employ for your business, for your idea. So one example is that I had somebody come to me recently and they had a business idea, and I basically reframed for them what they're selling, what they're pitching, because we oftentimes will go to a funder and say, hey, I want to help the homeless. And they're like, okay, there's 1,000 organizations that want to help the homeless. What's so unique about your organization that we should fund you over the other 999 organizations? I was asking that question too. So basically, I just want you to be thinking about that, right? There's different ways that we can talk about how you articulate what it is that you do. There's different ways that you can articulate what it is that your programs do, the effectiveness. There's different strategies of how to measure the impact of what you do or what you anticipate it will do. And when you do that effectively, then you start to draw funders in. Like I said, I've gotten the calls from people saying, I want to fund you. How do I fund you? Let's sit down and talk about how we can fund you. And that is because they know that I have integrity, that I have authenticity. They know that I'm not going to sell them a pipe dream, that at the end of the day, what it is that we do is going to work. And that's what I want for you. I want for people to know that what it is that you do is going to work, that they will receive a return on their investment because they are investing in you. Okay? So, like I said, y'all come and join me on Saturday. If you are wanting more information, if you would like to sit down with me for a 15-minute check-in before you sign up for the class, feel free to message me and I can get you on my workflow so that I can send you the information, the questionnaire, and get more information from you as to what it is that you're trying to do and what it is that you're working on. What I can say to you is that you do not need to have a business plan already. You do not need to already have your plan together. You don't even need to have a mission statement together right now, because at the end of the day, what you have is probably something you're going to have to redo anyways by the time we get done with the class. And if you have something that you've drafted already, I encourage you to bring it with you, because I promise you, you are going to level up and you're going to be so proud of yourself and knowing that you did it. You did it. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, message me, send me an email, latonia@monroenailer.com. You can message me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I will be more than happy to get back to you. Make sure that you know how to get into my workflow so that we can chat and make sure that you are on your way to taking your mission-rich business from being profit poor to profit powered. All right, y'all, take care. Have a blessed night.